In this video, I'm going to show you how your rock bottom can be one of the greatest things that happens to you. And we're going to do something a little bit different in today's video. And if you're new to the channel, which all of you are because I just started the channel, so I guess I'm new to the channel too. But it's the first time I'm ever doing this. And we're going to read a page from my first book that's coming out soon. And it's poems. But it's not poems like that I thou shall Shakespearean die. That's the only thing I could think of. These poems are very simple and they're meaningful and penetrating. And I'm sure you will resonate with this. And we're going to unpack it as we go. So let's get into it. The poem is called The Question at Rock Bottom. 2 years ago, I was crying in my room because I didn't know what to do with my life. I was drinking, smoking, I had no purpose, no meaning, and life-ending thoughts entered me for the first time. Sounds dramatic, but a few negative thoughts and the mind will take you to some crazy places. I remember thinking, how did I go from that great kid to this? But then I thought, if I went from that to this, then surely I can go from this to that. So when you were at your all-time low, your rock bottom, feeling like you have absolutely nothing going for you, do you have the strength to ask this one question? How can this be the greatest thing that happens to me? I only knew what I didn't want to do, but that was the beginning. It all starts in your room. All right, so there's a lot in that poem, but I want you to first recognize how quickly it escalates. Like I just went from crying in my room, and then I start drinking and smoking a bit, and then I have no purpose, no meaning, and then suddenly I'm having life-ending thoughts. And I had a great life up until this point. Like I was a happy kid, did a lot of sports. Part of what this poem is saying is that if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. And my partner told me this statistic this morning that 7 men in Australia, I'm in Australia if you can't tell by my accent by the way, 7 men in Australia kill themselves each day. It's crazy when I heard that because in this moment, I wasn't far away obviously from that either. And because it says, it sounds dramatic, but a few negative thoughts. It's not 100 negative thoughts. It's not 10 negative thoughts. It's a few negative thoughts. And the mind took me to that place. There's another line in the book. I'm just giving all the secrets of the book away. But it says, have you ever noticed how quickly negative thoughts come and how slowly positive ones do? Have you ever noticed that? But the crazy thing is, the negative voice is the one that you are mostly listening to. And so here's that first question. There's 2 questions in the poem, but that first question is, how did I go from that great kid to this? And I want you to understand that that's where a lot of people stay when they're at their rock bottom, when they're feeling these deep emotions that bring them down. That's where a lot of people stay. Like I could have easily just, how did I go from that great kid to this? And I could have easily been stuck in that I suck mentality. My life sucks. And I'm just a loser. I have nothing going for me. I could have stayed there so easily. But if your thoughts aren't ending positively, then you're missing out on the opportunity of what the thought is trying to tell you. One of the best quotes that I heard, everyone receives the lesson, but very few receive the teaching. And so if 7 men in Australia every single day kill themselves, and that's probably a low number compared to other places in the world, but 7 men in Australia kill themselves each day, then obviously this is not known. We need to know this. You need to know this, that whenever, and it doesn't have to be this like dark, deep rock bottom, but when an emotion comes that's bringing you down, there's another quote in the book that says, the only thing that ever brings you down is how much weight you give a thought. And so in this case, if I gave this thought, how did I go from that great kid to this? If I gave that so much weight, I would have just sunk down into this dark hole that it would have been so much harder for me to climb out of it. But what I had to realize, what I went through in this moment, although I didn't really understand it at the time, was every thought I'd had, every thought that you've had up until now is not going to get you to where you want to go. And so after that line, how did I go from that great kid to this? It says, but then I thought, if I went from that to this, then surely I can go from this to that. You see how quickly that turns around. And that's all we're doing on this channel. That's all of the value and energy that I'm going to bring on this channel is just making these little shifts in your head, little shifts that can make a gigantic difference in your life, because so much of life is in your mind. And I remember thinking that, man, this is my rock bottom. Like, everyone's rock bottom is different. Some are higher, some are lower, but we all have our rock bottoms. And I remember thinking that, man, how do people like who are in such a deeper pain and deeper depression and sadness than me, how did they manage to come out of this hole that they're in and into the light? And it comes down to one very important thing that you must know, that their pain wasn't just pain. Their pain turned into motivation. And that was this huge difference. So for me, the pain points were I was living a life that wasn't me anymore. And an even bigger pain point for me was I was living the life that my dad wanted me to live. Wow, there's thunder. There's so much happening. And it's a great exercise for you to do. What are your pain points? Because the deeper the pain, the greater the change. The deeper the pain, the greater the motivation that you can use. And so then we come to the second question, which is when you're at your all-time low, your rock bottom, feeling like you have absolutely nothing going for you, do you have the strength to ask yourself this one question? How can this be the greatest thing that happens to me? Now, I want you to see that. It says, do you have the strength? It's not, can you have the strength? Like, of course you have the strength. It's not, can you? It's, do you? Do is an action word. And also note that what kind of question it is. It's not, oh, why am I here? Why does my life suck? What am I going to do now? It's not even, oh, how can I get out of this? It's, how can this be the greatest thing that happens to me? Now, what kind of question is that? Is that a lack question? Is that a depressing question? Is that an average question? Is that a good question? No, it's not even a great question. It's an empowering question. And empowering questions give empowering answers. And empowering answers will give you the actions that you need to change your life. And it says, I only knew what I didn't want to do. And I think that's super encouraging because the few people that try to find what to do with their life, maybe it's not a matter of trying to find what to do with your life. Maybe it's a matter of you finding what to do with your life by also finding out not what to do with your life. So this was actually super encouraging for me because I had worked out exactly what I didn't want to do. So it was like this fresh start. And that's what the rock bottom is. And that's why it says that was the beginning. And then this last line is also key because it says it all starts in your room. Why does it say it all starts in your room? Because you wake up in your room. You go to sleep in your room. You are in your room every single day. It starts when you want it to start. And so your rock bottom is not your rock bottom. Your rock bottom is a turning point. It's the turning point of your life. So use it that way. Remember, if your thoughts are ending negatively, then you're missing out on the opportunity of that thought. I hope this video brings you little changes of perspective, these little shifts, angles in your head that you can use to make a huge difference in your life and start moving toward your purpose, toward the person that you truly are meant to be, your destiny. That's what this channel is about. You can't have $1 million life with a $2 mind. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep moving together with this. Let me know if you like the style of video, me reading the poems to you. I absolutely love words, so it's a joy for me to do, and I hope you can feel my passion over the microphone and the video. Also, I want to say thank you so much for the love on the last couple videos. I was getting like 40, 50, 60 views, and then suddenly it goes up to 800. Subscribers doubled. It's still like very low numbers, but I'm like, every subscriber I see, I'm like, oh, I get super excited because I don't just see them as numbers. I see you guys as people and girls as people. So thank you so much. We're going to keep moving together on this. As always, be kind, be caring, be courageous, and I'll see you on the next video. Lots of love.